Hello, I hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to take just a couple minutes to discuss your creative nonfiction piece that you have due on Sunday. I thought I would review 3 elements that I think are really important, especially in the creative nonfiction piece, but really in any story that you're going to write. So those are description, so the specific details and sensory images that you put into your story to make the story come alive for the reader so that they're experiencing it, so that you paint a picture for them, so to speak. Reflection, which is you as the writer reflecting on the moment. So if something happened in childhood, you're reflecting as yourself, as the writer, on what you are describing. And then also dialogue, because more than likely you probably had some sort of a conversation with somebody during the event, and you'll want to put that into the story, but only focus on the most important, the most essential parts of the dialogue. Not all stories use dialogue, but most tend to. So if you're going to use dialogue, keep that in mind, that you want to just not put in anything that's not essential, just put in stuff that's going to move the plot along. Okay, so I thought we'd take a look at a sample that I created. It's the beginning of an essay that is about a childhood experience that I had, and I thought it would be a good example for you to see. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through this. This is just an example I created to kind of illustrate my point about description, reflection, and dialogue. So the water splashed around my face. I moved up and down in a rhythm, getting the hang of this whole swimming thing. Then things took a turn. So we are right in the moment. I am describing to you what it felt like to have water splash across my face. I'm telling you that I'm moving up and down in a rhythm. I'd probably, if I was going to revise this more, even add more further descriptive details and sensory images, just to kind of make this more come alive for the reader. But it gives you a good sense of kind of how you have to put the reader into the situation, but then you also have to reflect on it. Then things took a turn. That's me as the writer reflecting on the situation, not me as the 5-year-old who the situation happened to. So it's important to keep that in mind, that that's not something that my 5-year-old self would say, but it is something that the writer would say. My father had to briefly turn away from me to get my sister, who was playing in the pool. She's a year and a half younger than me, so I'm giving you more details, trying to get you to understand the situation. I sank to the bottom of the pool like a happy, confused mermaid, unaware that I could not breathe underwater. So now, as the writer, I'm adding in details, I'm adding in a voice. I'm still trying to keep you in the moment, but I'm also trying to infuse my own style. My vision filled with blue as bubbles passed me as I dropped. Odd enough, I don't remember being scared. Again, that's me infusing some reflection into this. If anything, I was more curious about the underwater world. The moment I started to wonder about being down here, I felt a hand grab me and pull me upward. "Are you okay, Chris?" my dad asked, while also holding on to my sister. I just looked at him. Why wouldn't I be okay? So again, we have this scene that is taking place. We have description, we have reflection, and we have a little bit of dialogue. With the dialogue, as I've mentioned previously, try to just, put the most important stuff in. So at that point, it was important that my dad asked, if I'm okay. I was also probably just under for a couple seconds, but it feels like an eternity, and I was trying to get that across too, that moment when kind of time stops. So that's important to keep in mind too. Also, look at the structure of the paragraphs. I have these 2 short paragraphs at the beginning. I could have put them together, and that's a decision that you as the writer need to make. Kind of how you want to structure it is going to play into how the reader reads it, and what the reaction of the audience is also going to be influenced by how you organize your paragraphs and how you organize the essay as a whole. So these are things to keep in mind. I'm really looking forward to reading your creative nonfiction pieces. Feel free to email me if you have any questions.